So I don't know how long I'm going to be cut off for because in the beginning of a live stream, usually I wind up losing a lot of footage, which is why starting screens are a thing. Um, where people will put up a starting soon screen and it'll be like, oh, it'll be getting live in a second. Just wait for this countdown. They do that because if you don't do that, then a lot of footage gets lost at the beginning and you just wind up with like the stream starting in the middle of a sentence after like two or three thoughts have already been put forward. So hopefully I've done enough waffling where that will not happen. Ultimately, the stream today is about gorillas and humans and how it's a stupid debate to begin with. And any debate involving 100 people versus anything on Earth is stupid. And a lot of people like to qualify the statement by saying it's 100 unarmed people, 100 average people versus whatever entity it is. I've seen orcas, I've seen 100 people versus 100 chimps. I don't understand where this came from or why this is a question, because whenever you consider the fact that we are the dominant species on this world, it's not a debate to be had. And there's a lot of reasons why we are the top of the food chain and have been for millennia. And I get, people like little thought experiments and people like pitting, different people together. And, r/power leveling is a very popular subreddit and one of the dumbest subreddits on the entire website. It's actually appalling that people will pit Saitama versus Omni-Man and think Omni-Man has a chance. It just goes to show people use zero logic whenever they pit fighters together in any capacity, in any respect. There's not a whole lot of thought that's gone into the 100 people versus gorillas. Trying to say that they need to be unarmed and they need to be average and so on and so forth. The average person, I'm going to Google it real quick because I've got a list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that cause humans to win every fight they get into. And we're going to get into that. Let me see here. How big is the average person weight? Because that's something else. People love to say, oh, well, it's Americans, or 40% of them are morbidly obese. And so, they'd always lose a fight. 181 pounds is the average weight of an adult in the United States. Now, average person weight, average global person weight is what I was specifically looking for. Average global person weight is 136 pounds. Now, compare that to, folks saying that, if it's Americans, it's a bunch of 400-pound people rolling into battle and getting swatted away instantly. 100 gorillas versus Queso's jawline. If Queso fought 100 gorillas, they would get consumed within, moments. 200,000 gorillas versus the immortal. Well, we're talking about humans here. I'm talking about humans, not Abraham Lincoln. So, the problem with the debate is that people have been able to completely overrun and overwhelm the world and every ecosystem. And once a person gets somewhere and lives somewhere, the only thing that could disrupt them is tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, just natural disasters is about the only real true antithesis to people. Or microbes, because, you can't fight what you can't see. The reasons that people are so good at not losing fights. Let's see. First one, ability to craft and use ranged weapons. The statement that you need to have 100 unarmed people fighting one gorilla or 100 unarmed people fighting chimpanzees. Humans are only unarmed for a couple seconds in any fight because we instinctively look for an advantage. And because we have stupendous problem-solving capability compared to everything else in the world, the first thing we're thinking about is there's a threat. I gotta put something in my hands. Where's a stick? Where's a rock? Where's a box of Cheetos? There's always going to be something people reach for whenever a fight happens. They're not just going to go in arms blazing. They're not just going to use the fists because we already instinctively know if you puncture something, it's going to hurt it. And gorillas are actually fairly easy to puncture, as are most things on Earth. Most things don't come into fights wearing already full body armor. About the only thing you can't puncture is something like a turtle or, I don't know, an elephant. An elephant would actually be a fairly good contender for this. You want to cause a fight between, 100 people and something, make it one elephant and think about that instead of orcas. But like ranged weapons, nothing except gorillas will throw things. It's an unfair advantage because you can hit something from a distance, whereas basically everything else in creation has to be melee, has to be in melee range to cause any damage, whether with claws or with teeth or with bonking them like with the case of the apes. The only things that can throw weapons are apes and humans. But whenever an ape's in a fight, what is it thinking about? Let me go bonk some fools. When a person's in a fight, get something in my hands that is harder than my hands so that I can drive it into the body of the opponent. That is what a person thinks of automatically. It was one of the first things that made us as good at fighting as we are. The people roaming out in the plains and living in caves 10, 15,000 years ago were thinking of, how do I get this thing that always runs away from me whenever I go to kill it? Well, what if I get something that moves faster than it does, like a stone or a hatchet or a spear? We will immediately put something in our hands that causes more damage quicker than the other thing can cause to us. Second thing is pack mentality. We do fight in a group. Yes, one of the debates that I've heard about people and fighting gorillas is that if one person is fighting the gorilla and the gorilla smacks him flat, everybody else is going to see that and say, oh snap, I need to be somewhere else. I got to... And they'll run away after seeing one person get smushed and the gorilla's won because all the people have run away. But if one person says, hey, you can't do that, that's naughty business, and then goes in there and starts slinging at the gorilla, I mean, they'd have to be insane, but there's one insane person in every group of 100 people. So if one person goes and tries to beat up the gorilla to save the one person that's been downed, then everybody else is going to see that and be emboldened and think, well, he's doing it, I need to do it. And then everybody bum rushes the gorilla. Think about Crowd Crush, how one person who is like shaking a fence will cause everybody down like a police line of fences to start shaking a fence. If you get enough people moving the same direction, they could do anything, and it only takes one person to be stupid enough or brave enough to move that direction first and lead everybody into it. We're like sheep. What's up, Shalvaka? How you doing, buddy? Could you also pick those 100 humans like I could pick 100 Rambos? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It could be 100. It could be 100 people who are all overweight and unathletic, and in the end, humans just win by numbers, by intelligence, and by everything else I've got here on the list. We've already covered the ability to use ranged weapons, something that basically only we do. Pack mentality, where everybody's just going to run in and overwhelm any opponent. Stupendous problem solving was the third item on the list, which I kind of already said whenever I was talking about ranged weapons and crafting ranged weapons. Like everything else on the planet, like the highest IQ of any other thing on Earth is either that of an elephant or a dolphin. And you're still talking about an IQ of less than 7. Let's see. What is the smartest animal on the planet? I don't want to say that and then be incorrect. What is the smartest animal on Earth? 3.2e. Yeah, I don't want to even math that out, but 3.2000000 plus 60 gorillas versus Chuck Norris. I don't see how that would work. I think Queso would be able to eat 100 gorillas or that many gorillas, but Chuck Norris, it's a situation where do they actually like get to the fight or does he get them while they're coming? And then guns, yes, guns, ranged weapons. Like it's too hard to fight a person because we make ranged weapons. But what was I was Googling how smart is the smartest animal? Highest IQ of an animal. And what is their actual IQ rating? The highest IQ of an animal is Okay, well, that's Brightside. I'm not going to believe anything from Brightside. Apparently, chimpanzees, and they're at like 20. But your average human intelligence, average human IQ, is about 100. And IQ is determined through problem solving and your capabilities of thonkifying. And, yeah, like, the thought processes that go through a person's mind whenever they have to fight something is beyond the smartest animal. Where an animal's like, me not happy, me bite, me scratch, me kill. But a person's like, okay, where's the nearest exit? Do I not have an exit? Okay, now I've got to fight. What advantages do I have? There's got to be something. Sand. Let me scoop some sand. If they can't see me, they can't fight me. Okay, sand has got. All right, now what do I do? A stick. A poke stick. And that happens within a couple seconds without having to say anything. Octopus? Octopuses, I think they were actually pretty far up there. I think it was like 12 on the list I found on Google. But octopus doesn't stand much of a chance because all you got to do is step on them. 100 chimps could teach you how to use a spear and it will beat a gorilla. You could like you train chimps to use a spear. Yeah, I don't know if we want to do that. Start poking some people they don't need to be poking. But like the problem-solving capabilities that we have far outmatch anything else. With the fact that we have roads that we've paved for ourselves to be able to quickly transport ourselves from place to place, we've shaped and molded the ecosystems all around the world to suit our needs and have moved everything else to the borders of where we intend to do our business and fight our fights and live our lives. And nothing has figured out a way to, like, push us back. It's not a fair comparison. Average person can't even do the monkey bars in a children's playground. A gorilla hangs from trees every single day and weighs like 4,000 pounds. They like the highest weight I saw for a gorilla was like 400 pounds. I'll look at that real quick though, just to be clear. Gorilla average weight. Average gorilla weight for an eastern gorilla is 450 pounds. Average western gorilla weight is 350 pounds. Unless I misunderstood. No, you actually said they weigh 4,000 pounds. Yeah, they don't weigh anything near that. They would be falling through the ground. Hell, we even built dams so large. Yeah, like the fact that we can hold Mother Nature at bay, for goodness sake. Levees and dams and lightning rods and lightning protection systems. We've dominated this planet to the point that nothing can push us back except a hurricane, and then that won't even last. Yeah, like it's easy to not it's easy to imagine something because of everybody glazing them so hard and having never. I mean, I haven't spoken to a gorilla in at least a couple months, so even I sometimes forget just how not amazing those animals are. And how incapable they actually are of putting up a decent fight. But yeah, stupendous problem solving. Our leg design is the next one on here, and this is kind of playing into endurance hunting. Our movement and the means with which we locomote from place to place is also completely broken. Humans walking and running OP. Humans are this is the AI overview of Google talking about how people are biologically adapted for walking and running, with the transition speed between the two typically occurs around 4.5 miles an hour. Okay. Running is more efficient than walking at higher speeds, with a significant increase in the percentage of total power provided at the ankle and a decrease at the hip. The transition to running can be triggered by feedback from muscles or tendons, particularly when walking speeds where the muscle force production is impaired. Our ability to run comes from our long, narrow waists, which allow for rotational counterbalance that very few animals can match. The way our calves are built to be able to push us off of the ground and propel us forward is such a energy efficient means of locomotion because it requires so little effort and so little calories are burnt by pushing yourself forward that endurance hunting, which I'll Google real quick so that I can give you an accurate definition of that, is like we're the only things capable of endurance hunting, where we just pursue something at a leisurely pace because we know that they will faint before we will. Persistence hunting, I'm sorry. Persistence hunting, also known as endurance hunting, I apologize too soon, is a variant of pursuit predation in which a predator will bring down a prey through indirect means, such as exhaustion, heat illness, or heat stroke. Hunters of this type will typically display adaptations for distance running, such as longer legs, temperature regulation, which we do through sweating, which is another broken advantage that we have, and a specialized cardiovascular system, which allows us to breathe while at high speeds, digest food while at high speeds. Some endurance hunters may prefer to injure prey, blah, 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 blah. But humans are the best long-distance runners in the animal kingdom. Some hunter-gatherer tribes practice endurance hunting even in the modern era. Homo sapiens have the proportionally longest legs of all known species, but all members of genus Homo have cursorial limbs adapted for running, not seen in more arboreal hominids such as chimpanzees and orangutans. Persistence hunting can be done by walking, but with a 30% lower rate of success than by running or trotting, intermittent running. Furthermore, while needing 10 to 30% less energy, it takes twice as long. Walking down prey, however, may have arisen in Homo erectus, which is the people who began to be erect, preceding endurance running. Homo erectus may have lost its hair to enhance heat dissipation during persistence hunting, which would explain the origin of a characteristic feature of the genus Homo. There's nothing else that can really run down prey except wolves, who just depend on the other guy fainting first in order to catch prey. So how many humans would the gorilla end in a fight? Maybe 20 before it gets beaten down, because humans weigh a lot. A lot of people are very heavy, and even if a gorilla is strong, like the more people pile on and the more people start kicking, the less chance it has of taking any more down. So out of 100, maybe 20 before it gets overwhelmed and can't do anything else. 100 humans randomly picked versus one silverback gorilla in a basketball court somewhere with nothing to pick up or use for an advantage. Like I say, if one person is brave enough to bum rush the gorilla just out of pure stupidity, here goes everybody else, one by one. Oh, he did it, I'll do it. Oh, he did it, I'll do it. Oh, well, we have numbers, I'll do it too. The gorilla dies. We also dominate animals in this category, as things like deer have to do a push-up to run, but humans have the Achilles, which makes it way more efficient. Yeah, we can get up a lot faster. We can get moving at high speed a lot faster. Like, even with a jaguar or a cheetah or things that move ridiculously fast, even though they have that big burst of speed, we are relentless. Where an animal like that can hold that speed for 20 to 30 seconds, they get to the other end of their long stretch that they've run, and now they've got to stop. And now they got to relax, and now they got to pant, and now they've got to try to regain enough energy to continue moving. Whereas the human, who you left him 300 feet back, is now 75 feet back and is getting closer constantly. It's like the immortal lethal snail, but it's a person. That's what we are. We are immortal lethal snails. You can't get away from a person for very long. The only thing that can actually get away from people is things that can fly. And we've still got means of getting things that can fly. Guns, nets, bird feeders. The fish, for goodness sake. We don't even worry about fish. Like, we don't have to kill this specific fish. We just throw out a big old net. We get plenty of them. There's nothing that can actually fully escape a person except other people. We took down mammoths back in the day. We can easily take down one gorilla. Yeah, and it was something maybe like 5 or 6 people to hunt down a mammoth, because just poke them. People in a basketball court, you just run them over. Crowd crush is deadly. When enough people stand on top of something, it'll smush anything, and that includes a gorilla. And we are very good at kicking things. I want to say the force projected by kicking or imparted by kicking is like 70 or 80 joules higher than that of punching, because the way our bones are structured and how thick and heavy and forceful our leg bones can be whenever propelled by these big ass muscles that connect to our pitucuses. There's no comparison. There's no advantage that anything really has, except, my opinion, an elephant, because they're too tall to get to their heads, which is where you prefer to hurt things. With no weapons, 100 people versus an elephant, that is a lot more close of a fight, because you can't immediately get to the head. You have to knock them down first. But yeah, our leg design, our capability of locomotion, endurance hunting, digestion while running, those are all massive advantages that we have. The other two items on the list, vocally transmitting information. Gorillas, they know and and that's it. If they want to fight, then they go ah, and that's it. I mean, that means, okay, now we're fighting. With humans, hey, I'm being attacked by a gorilla. Can y'all help me, please? Oh, sure, yeah, buddy, we got you. Hang on just a second. Let me go get the hoe. I got a shovel. And everybody knows, okay, we're throwing down with this gorilla. Everybody grab something. We got to get them. You know, if I tell you to go grab a light bulb out of the closet down the hall in front of the bathroom, bring it in here and put it in the ceiling fan, you already know where you've got to get, how far you've got to go, what you're looking for, what it looks like, where you've got to bring it, and what you've got to do. And I just told you that within a couple of seconds. And you already know all of that. But like birds, whenever they call, they know territorial call, mating call, I'm dying call. That's it. That is the only information they can really vocally transmit. We can mash so much information, a massive amount of information, into a very little bit of sound. And we can project that over long distances, and everything else can understand it and respond to it instinctively. If I sit here and go, ah! Then everybody knows there's a problem. That's the direction they're coming from. Let me go help. We can use our voices to massive effect and transmit massive amounts of information and instructions on doing things and how to do them. Nothing else can do that. There is not a single other animal on the planet that can compress information into sound and send it as far as we can and effectively as we can. So when one person says, this gorilla's attacking me, everybody else hears it. Everybody else knows how to respond. Last option is spite. We're the only animals that will continue to attack something to our own detriment with the malevolent intent of causing them more harm than they cause us. Fear is the driving force behind all decisions that everything makes. Everything operates based on fear. I get out of bed in the morning because I don't want to starve. I go to work because I don't want to be out of money and not be able to pay the rent. I get out of my cave in the morning so I can go find food because I don't want to starve. I find a mate because I don't want my species to go extinct. Fear motivates everything. But humans will operate against their instinct, against their programming, to kill something despite very, very high odds that they will also die. Our emotions are unique in that they can cause us to do irrational things against our instincts and make us fight things knowing full well we probably won't make it, but I'm going to get them anyways. And that is how everything loses, including other people. Wars are fought because somebody got so mad that he doesn't care what the consequences are. Some of you may die. Well, that's a risk I'm willing to take. 100 humans versus gorilla with jetpack in space. Well, if the gorilla's in space, then we can't fight him because we're on the ground. I'm doing good, bro. Life, how you doing, buddy? But I mean, there's like spite can be observed in some other things, like a mama bird whose nest is being invaded by a snake, and so she's like, wanting to peck the snake and try and get it to go away. Or if there's a cat walking through and you see a mockingbird dive bombing it, they know that they might get hurt, but they're still going to go for it. But that's because that's a major threat to like the baby eggs, the eggs, the baby birds, or the cat going through might get the nest, but humans will do it over anything. If somebody takes your parking space, you're going to be mad as heck. And some people have had very serious problems over parking spaces. There was, you see crazy things from Florida, like somebody just, got mad at a McDonald's employee because the fries were cold and threw hands over it. Spite and negative emotion, anger, rage. While rage is something that a lot of animals can experience, not whenever they think there's going to be like a severe threat to themselves as well. If they think they're going to get hurt, or if the opponent is bigger than they are, or more brightly colored than they are, or has already injured them enough to make them flee, they'll flee. People, it's a lot harder to get them to run away. And it's a lot harder to get rid of them, period. Because we're smarter, because our bodies are overpowered, and because we just dominate every ecosystem that we're in. Because it's what we do. It's something that we take pride in. Whenever you just had a house built and you look at that thing and you're like, man, that's a good house. I did so good on this. Man, I'm happy to have this property that you just completely put your foot on, and you have this massive footprint now with this big old piece of land that you just put yourself in the middle of, and now birds won't fly here because the tree that you just cut down to put your house, that's been chipped up and shredded, and wood chips are everywhere. That tree is gone. You told that tree who's boss. Those birds, they can go find another tree. Like my point being, we didn't get to the population that we have now because we lose fights with gorillas. Humans did not become as massive a force on this planet as we are because we don't know how to get rid of an orca or a chimpanzee or an elephant. If 100 people would lose a fight against one gorilla, we would have gone extinct thousands of years ago. We would not have made it this far if we were weak enough or disorganized enough or underpowered enough to lose a fight to something that is much, much smaller and so much dumber than we are. I'm one of those people dreading parking space issues. Oh, yes, I understand that. Heck, I mean, I've got my big old truck that I have trouble parking even now. It's dreadful. Thank you for the 3 likes on the stream. Appreciate that. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I've seen a lot of blabber on Reddit and on YouTube about people having debates over whether, 100 naked people with one arm are able to fight a sloth, or, just a bunch of ridiculous debates. And just, generally misunderstanding where humans came from and what made us so strong. So yeah, I'm sick of seeing it. It's only been a week since this thing really got big, and I want it to go away, and I don't want it to continue to entrench itself in the public mind and eye and make people think that, we should pit everything against people and that be just a meme for the next month. I'm tired of it. I didn't want r/power scaling to leak into the real world, and now it has, and now it's, on Dexerto and Screen Rant and all these other places. I mean, if I just type the word gorilla into Google, Google gorilla right now, and you will see top stories. Men's Journal, could 100 men beat a gorilla? CNN, they gotta be committed. Expert weighs in on 100 men versus gorilla debate. Yahoo, NPR, Outkick, USA Today, NDTV, Times of India, NBC News, Boston.com. Everybody's talking about it. There's no debate. There's no debate to be had, and I'm sad that this ever became a topic. We outsmart them, we outplay them, we outbuild them. persons are who built planes and skyscrapers and dams and bridges and fidget spinners and flossing and gift bags and all that sort of thing. Anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to. The reason I streamed this, by the way, is because I wanted to edit this down and then upload it because I've noticed that nobody ever watches live streams. Like, I saw a poll recently that less than 9% of YouTube traffic is to live streams. Just nobody, like, if they see that little red word live, they avoid it like the plague. People are only ever here to watch long form videos. Like, even shorts was like 11%. Um, so, yeah. I wanted to make an upload of this so that it actually gets seen. Um, because I've been stuck at 8,000 something subscribers for so long that it's kind of sad. Let's see here. Rush Advance, what's up, buddy? Thoughts on GTA 6 releasing in 2026? I honestly, dude, like, the only GTA game that I've played, uh, well, the only two. I played Vice City for like 20 minutes and got bored as heck immediately. And thank you for the 5 likes on the stream. Appreciate that. And then GTA 5, it was okay. I felt a little content deplete, but like multiplayer was fine. I would never play single player. I would never play the campaign for a GTA game just because I don't want to bother with it. I'm not interested in single player gameplay. I'll have to see once it comes out. I know that it's going to be like, $5 bajillion on release and not be released on PC for like a year after console is released. So I've got no skin in the game with GTA. It's not very near and dear to my heart. I'm more interested in seeing Build 42 for Project Zomboid released fully into multiplayer because Unstable 42 is out, but it's not multiplayer yet, and I get why. I want to see the next Make Good Choices game from TN Games. I'd like to see Repo get updated. Obviously, whenever Schedule 1 gets updated, I'm going to be playing the heck out of that. Like, there's a lot of other places that I'm looking right now for that, and yeah, it's GTA. I'll let that happen when it happens. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, buddy? Senor Rainfall, do I get my first construction job by walking up to a contractor and asking for one, or don't walk up to a job site. You go into a job site, they're going to kick you off because they're usually restricted areas because you got to have a hard hat on, safety vest, gloves, glasses, whatever kind of like requirement the PPE is for that area. Plus the fact that you just might get slammed into by a passing forklift or something. So if you want to get a job with a contractor, go to their office and ask for an application or look them up online. You're probably more likely to get a job if you go directly to the office if they have walk-ins available. Like if you could just walk in, go to a front desk receptionist and ask for a paper application, you're probably going to have a better time that way because if you enter in online, God knows it's probably going to get reviewed by an AI. It depends on the size of the company you're trying to apply with. If you're applying to a mom and pop shop, they don't have an AI. They probably don't even have a computer. If they have 30 employees working for them, you're not going to apply online. But if it's something like a 1,000-man plus company, then you probably want to try and find an office and go to it. Your Make Good Choices speedrun was dope. Appreciate that, bud. And it got beaten so bad. Like I think somebody had like a 29-second speed. I don't know how you could do that without like adjusting your speed into game files or something, because that just seems cheaty. But I did play the beta, by the way, for Make Good Choices 2, or Make More Choices, or Make Better Choices, or Make Choices Again, whatever you want to call it. The dev Flava did give me a key to beta test the game for him, which was an honor and a privilege, and I love the... I'm so happy that they made a second one, and if you want to see the beta test that we did for that and me setting the speed run before the game even got released, because I did beat it and I beat the heck out of it. Where's it at? Where's the live stream that we did? Making monstrous choices in the factory. I started off playing Monster Hunter, which was a joke, and I don't want to play Monster Hunter again. But there's the link to the live stream in the middle of that, and the majority of the runtime we played the second Make Good Choices game. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. No problem, Andrew. But yeah, definitely look at that, because I like what he's got with the next game. I don't think he's released it yet. Let me actually look that up on Steam, because it's been a while since that stream. How long has it been? Let me click on that. How long has it been since this? 1 month ago. It's been 1 month ago since I saw that, and I mean it's one guy trying to make a game, so I don't know how long it took him to make the first game. I'm sure it's going to take a while to make the second game. Um, where's it at in my list? Make good choices. Store page. Do 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 do. Click TN Games. They still only have one product on Steam. I'm happy with how hard they popped off with this though, because everybody was playing it. XQC played it, Queso played it. Like a lot of people, a lot of big names play this game. I'm so happy it got so much like visibility and traction. Dude deserved it. Such a fun game. Loved it so much. Let's see. The headset looks comfy. What model is it? This is the Corsair. Wait a minute. I actually have to. Let me look at my device manager. Corsair HS80 RGB wireless gaming headset. Corsair What did I say? I just said it, and I've already HS80. Corsair HS80. I've always worn Corsair headsets. Corsair Void was the first wireless microphone headset I picked up, and it was just gorgeous. I loved that thing. And then this is just the upgraded modern version of it. Kept my old one till now and debating on getting a new one, but so many are uncomfortable to wear for a long time. No, dude, like this, I forget that this is on my head. I love Corsair. They make such good products. I'm a newer sub, found your channel through your video and construction culture. Your event playlist is one of the greatest hidden gems on YouTube, the tape video especially. Well, I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. I wish it wasn't as hidden. I made a subreddit to try and propagate my videos, but it's like, I can't really post anything anywhere on Reddit because that's like the best advertising. Markiplier is a famous example of somebody who, you know, their videos were propagated and seen by a lot of people because somebody posted a playthrough to Reddit. I think it was of his Amnesia playthrough. Like Reddit is a gold mine of advertising. But if I post my own stuff, then I get banned from all subreddits because you're no self-promotion. Go hook! So, yeah, I made the subreddit, and I posted some stuff to my own subreddit, and, yeah, there's not really much more I can do without getting banned from places and, like, putting a bad name on the channel. I can send you a link to it if you can't find it, but for the headset. The tape video, though. You say the tape video. What tape video are you talking about? I have so many videos in the event playlist now. Look at this. Look at this pop up on my YouTube studio. Live streamers, we want to hear from you. Join YouTube user research to share your feedback and get gift cards for your participation. You don't want me to talk about the live streaming on YouTube, because it never gets shown to anybody. Let's look. Videos on the event videos playlist. I want event. Construction site culture sucks so much. I display parasocial behavior. Hate driving. The hug collector. Which is privated. I have a lot of video. By the way, just to give you an idea of how many videos you don't actually see are there, I have 738 videos. But probably 50 of those are either privated or unlisted because of me like thinking that it's not good enough to keep on the main page. At some point, I'm going to have to, like, start unprivating videos so that y'all can see, like, some of the stupid crap that I've done that I was, like, self-conscious about. I was a supervillain as a kid. Which one are you talking about with tape? Caution tape! Yes, the I Hate Danger tape video. Yeah, I remember that. I was sitting in front of a warehouse. Yes, I was sitting in front of a warehouse 3 warehouses ago. 3 warehouse job sites ago. I was at that making the Danger Barricade tape stream. Let's see. Let me get this out of here. That was the list from the previous video. And then pull this over here, and then I Hate Danger Barricade tape. On the job, having just arrived, and about to get ready to go to work. What's that southern drawl I got, boy? I tell you what. Are you using the mic on it too? The mic sounds good though. Yes, I am using the mic, and I will tell you, I had to turn up the mic in my settings so much. Thank you for the 6 likes on the stream. I don't know if I said that whenever it hit 6. I appreciate that. I had to turn up the mic on this thing so much to get it to actually overwhelm the video audio or the game audio or Discord audio, because for the longest time it was so quiet. And if you watch any other streams where I'm like playing with Harley or Zindy or Veli or anything else, my mic is so quiet. I had to go into Streamlabs because in my device settings, I have it turned up all the way. It is as high as it'll go in my device manager. But I had to go into Streamlabs and like put a gain filter on it in order to get it to be loud enough for you to hear me squeaking over everything else that happens on the desktop. So I will say that about it. The mic is quiet. A lot quieter than I would prefer it to be. But yeah, this, what else is in here? Fatty Bacon. That was kind of a emotional train wreck. But yeah, these two videos right here had, no, not even these two. Bro, I did the construction jobs tier list. Look at this. Like for that, 302,000 views. How about this one over Hyundai, though, where I did it a second time, where I was like, okay, people liked this one, 302,000 views. Let me bust a sequel real quick. 1,300 views! What do you want from me, dude? What does YouTube want? I do the best I can. We even did the annoying things tier list, where it's like, okay, people like tier lists. Tier lists like are a thing that a lot of people like watching. We did the annoying things tier list, and I think the first one out of that has the most traffic, and it has like, where's it at? Oh, I put it in its own playlist. Hang on. Let me put this over here in case somebody's got some wild thumbnail. Excuse me. Yeah, the first video for this has the most views at 869. And it's like annoying things. People relate to that. Tier lists. People like watching that. 869 views. If I'm not talking about construction, then it's not valuable to the YouTube market. But also, I've made like 20 videos on construction, and none of them ever get shown. Like, I was asked so many times how to get into construction, advice for getting into construction. And my video called How to Get Into Construction has 3,573 views. Like, what do you want from me? What do you want? It's just obnoxious. Ugh. Anyway, I'll quit complaining. I'll quit belly aching. I just wanted to do this stream real quick so that I could complain about the 100 humans versus literally anything. Because I want this to die. I want it to go away. I'm tired of seeing this every time I open up a web page. I'm just tired of it. Just tired of it. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you to everybody who dropped in to comment. Brightleaf, Jack, Andrew, Rush, Harley, Not the Typical Canadian, Chad, Pez, Rambo at some point, I'm sure. I'll be back later. I'm not sure what game we're going to get onto tonight, but I do want to do something. Played a little bit of PvE Tarkov recently. Might do that. So, y'all have a hilarious night. I am going to edit this down and upload a shorter version of this. So, be looking out for that. You're welcome, Jack. Thank you for being here.